Friendly's restaurants are the latest victim of this unfriendly economy as the chain files for bankruptcy. Plus, he's 25 years old and inspiring his generation, not to mention the president, to end global poverty. Plus, the saucy burlesque dance troupe, Boston Baby Dolls, now on Greater Boston. Good evening, I'm Jared Bowen. Emily Rooney is off tonight. A Massachusetts-based family-friendly restaurant chain is heading towards an unfriendly place, bankruptcy. Friendly's is shutting down 63 locations across the country. As Greater Boston's Jaclyn Cashman tells us, half of those are right here in the Bay State.
It's been a family favorite for more than 70 years, but that dream of a Friendly's hot fudge sundae is melting away.
I went to Friendly's when I was young. It's pretty sad that an icon like this name is going down right now. It's a sign of the times, I guess.
30 locations, including this one in Charlestown, are closing shop in order to reorganize under Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Nicole Lazard grew up in Wilbraham, the hometown of Friendly's. She has plenty of fond memories going there as a kid and is saddened she can't provide her daughter with the same.
I was excited to bring my daughter to Friendly's one day and do sort of, the free kid dinner night and share an ice cream cones.
Frank Keene actually attended the grand opening of Friendly's in Charlestown several decades ago and used to come here each morning for scrambled eggs before this sign appeared.
It's a loss to Charlestown, it really is, because it's a nice place to go and I really do miss it.
The neighborhood ice cream shop opened during the Great Depression, but unfortunately it couldn't stay afloat during these tough economic times. Casual family restaurants have been hit hard by the bad economy. This old school hangout has had a difficult time competing against places like Panera Bread. The other problem with this Western Mass-based company, their best-selling item, ice cream. As Americans are becoming more health conscious, they're ditching their banana splits for healthier options like this frozen yogurt from Tasty Delight. Here on Newbury Street, there have been several stores opening up offering new frozen treats. With the calories displayed on the board, customers can enjoy a guilt-free frozen snack.
And the fact that it's lower calorie, I think, helps a lot of people out, You feel like less guilty about going to get your sweet thing.
But for more longtime Friendly's customers, they put calories aside and instead focus on the memories made over decades, eating the delicious ice cream and cheeseburgers with their family.
Now, for more on the Friendly's fallout, here are Robert Carlson, former president of Brigham's Restaurant Group and a one-time Friendly's executive, and Christopher Muller, dean of Boston University's School of Hospitality. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you very much, Jared.
I would think that one of the main issues here is just an image problem. What is Friendly's? When we were all talking about this in the newsroom this morning, I've always thought, and I grew up in Massachusetts, I always thought of Friendly's as an ice cream shop. A colleague of mine thought of it as a restaurant, and then Christopher, you put it in the sort of the coffee shop diner category. So is that part of what led to this bankruptcy?
Just a quick historical aspect. It really is an imitator of the original Howard Johnson's, which stood in Quincy. And the family decided that they could do it in Western Mass. It was a counter-serve, short-order cooking model. So it was ice cream, which was the core business, but it also served grilled items, sandwiches, mostly hot hamburgers and grilled cheese and that kind of stuff. So it was both of those things, just like Howard Johnson's was.
The interesting thing about the business itself is there have been significant changes in the entire category, where fast and casual now is as the report said, Panera. People are moving away from the typical burger, fries, and ice cream and soda and moving more towards, I wouldn't say a specifically healthier program, but they're going in to get alternative items where they can also do additional shopping. At places like Panera, they can buy bread, they can buy croissants. Friendly's, for what it did and what it does, is still a very, very good value when you examine it compared to other offerings. But unfortunately, in some of these situations, perhaps the leases aren't favorable, perhaps the employment costs are very, very high, and they made decisions to move the business in a different direction.
Well, yeah, there do seem to be more restaurants like Panera popping up, and the difference also there is that you go and you wait in line and you serve yourself and you dump your tray at the end. You're not being served like you are at Friendly's. I mean, that can't be a cost-effective model anymore, it seems.
Well, it's not, and actually it's both the size and the labor cost in a do-it-yourself economy. There's only about 125 seats compared to like a Denny's, which might have about 250. You go to a Panera Bread, you pay about $8, but you do that self-service, do it yourself. You compete with McDonald's, which now is coming from the raising their products, and Dunkin' Donuts, which has a broader menu than it used to. and you're really caught in a squeeze. It's sort of like playing tennis. You either play the net or you play the baseline. You can't play the tee. You can't be in the middle. Friendly's is really caught in a middle in the market that right now is no longer viable.
The most difficult part of their entire business model is the fact that who are they, what are they, as you just said. I still enjoy going to Friendly's occasionally with my wife and children. The problem is when you walk out of a place like that, you're faced with a $50 to $60 ticket, i.e. you're spending a lot of money. Okay, you go into a Panera, you do a quick in and out. It's probably the same, but you don't think of it the same way. Okay, there's menu creep in locations like that, so it comes up on you and you're not expecting it. And there's also the fact that you're sitting down, and it requires, as the doctor said, significant more service, significant higher investment in equipment. The cost model right now just doesn't seem to be appealing to a lot of people.
But at the same time, Jaclyn was telling me that she spent $7 for that ice cream that she was holding in the report that she just did. Friendly's, you're not going to pay $7, not even if you get some big glorious sundae.
Well, that's the other interesting part about the switchover and people's mentalities. Pinkberry, a great operation, but they get you by the ounce. So again, it's a menu creep. It's coming up on you. $7 to $10 is the average ring at a Pinkberry, but you walk out thinking, oh, I'm taking care of myself. I'm eating something of greater value. But when you put, the little candies and things like that on it, you're really not getting a better value. Friendly's, it turns out, serves a product that many people would consider better for you than some of those high-end soft-serve ice cream locations or soft-serve frozen yogurt locations.
But what actually is happening is that menu price is allowing them to be covering their costs, and when you add labor, servers people, and you only have about a $3, $4 ticket, that changes the model, and it makes it impossible for Friendly's to really make a profit. The corporation is not making money.
Well, the only thing that I think about as far as what the doctor said is that some businesses, it's part of the grand plan to get out of favorable leases, to get out of unfavorable employment agreements, to get out of unfavorable supplier agreements.
I was going to ask that. Is that what this is all about, sort of a scapegoat? Because, what is it, 63 locations are closing. There are still 400 open across the country. So is this really the end of Friendly's?
I wouldn't say it's the end of Friendly's. There are three premium business segments. There's the Friendly's products at the grocery stores, which is a significant portion of their overall portfolio. There are the Friendly's restaurants, and there's an entirely untapped segment, which is Friendly's selling their ice cream tubs and ice cream products to food service segments outside of the Friendly restaurants, which they've never traditionally taken advantage of. Now, if an agreement says that you can't sell Friendly's tubs within 5 miles of an existing franchisee, and you're in bankruptcy, you may be able to get relief from that circumstance and be able to sell the product out into the general marketplace. When you look at a company like Richardson's that does hundreds of thousands of tubs a year, and Friendly's that does hundreds of thousands of tubs but does them only through their own locations, imagine if Friendly's went out on the open market with their tub products, the advantages that they'd have, A, with brand equity, B, with a strong reputation, and C, selling in a high-quality manufacturing environment where they already have cost advantages. So they would be able to attack the marketplace aggressively.
Christopher, is there brand equity with Friendly's? I mean, it has kind of a stigma. First of all, it's a restaurant of a vastly different time. And secondly, It doesn't have great quality surveys, and a lot of people, I think I just saw in my research that I was going through today, people were ranking it at the bottom for food and service and everything else.
Well, I think what everybody of a certain generation says is, I love Friendly's. I'm sad to see it go, but what they really love is the memory of Friendly's. They love what Friendly's was in the 70s, the 60s, when they were growing up. They want that old-style feeling. So there is nostalgic brand equity. It is a legacy brand. For the ice cream, for the store, for the hand-packed kind of thing. But that's not the Friendly's of today. The Friendly's of today is competing in a very, very price-sensitive market. They do deep discounting. Because of that, their training and development costs are low. Their store maintenance is very low in some cases. And so they're really in a squeeze. So yes, the brand equity is very strong. It has a tremendous, 75 years in the marketplace. But it is not living up to its own brand reputation.
Are they beyond the point at which they can rehab some of this bad stigma and change their format?
Absolutely not. With specific cost controls in place, with an aggressive marketing program, you can change just about anything.
Is there a precedent for making a brand like this cool again?
There is. Brigham's reworked the business, and the brand became cool in the retail segment again, in the retail grocery segment. There's a lot of things that can be done. It all depends on how you approach it, and all depends on what the end result or the end goal at the bank, Sun Capital, that effectively owns the business, what they want to accomplish. If they want to accomplish earning consistent returns on their investment, there's one way to go at it. If they want to accomplish walking away, there's another way to go at it.
I'm a little bit more pessimistic about the category. When I say coffee shop, that's like a mom and pop, like the Busy Bee on Beacon Street. That business is dying. It's been replaced by other categories. It's a life cycle issue for a product of a restaurant type. You can have a Denny's and an IHOP, but if you look across the board, Perkins, Marie Callender's, this isn't a segment of the business as a restaurant that's under trouble. And I think that's the challenge.
Let's just be careful not to work out to stay with the Boston or the upscale mentality. I travel quite a bit, and you get into Pennsylvania, you get into the Midwest. People are still going and they're eating meatloaf and mashed potatoes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, in this area, the segment might not be repairable, but in some parts of the country, the further you get from I guess I'd call it the high education metropolitan areas, the more people go after that type of food, and the more restaurants like that are profitable. Okay, I mean, you're in Scranton, Pennsylvania. You have Perkins, you have Friendly's, you have 8 or 9 different local places. So again, it all depends on lifestyle characteristics of the individuals who are shopping in the locations.
Absolutely, and it's just a question of each one of the units can be profitable and can be doing $2 or $3 million.
Absolutely,
but many of the units are not because they're 40-year-old sites and the market's moved away from them.
Well, also 40-year-old sites. So is that the reason that we're not seeing the same financial problems or risk for IHOP and Denny's, which are, I guess, are they the comparable stores and restaurants to Friendly's?
In a restaurant segment, they are, but they're ice cream. You know, if you say that they're in the ice cream business, that's one segment. If you say that they're in the family dining segment, that puts them in a different category, and that's part of the issue.
You have to examine what the highest profitability in a location comes from. Should they be selling ice cream? Should they be selling burgers and fries? Okay, if they're selling ice cream and the profitability is from ice cream, the ice cream location, that's what you should be. Okay, but again, it comes back to the one thing we haven't talked about is all the people that are working at those locations who are out of work all of a sudden now, and that's extremely. No one's thinking about that. No one's talking about that. I think we should spend more time talking about the effects of literally in those locations. You probably have 400 or 500 people now who are out of work in a very tough economy. And was this a decision that was made a long time ago to turn the business like this, or is it a decision that was made because, okay, the business isn't profitable, what do we do now? All right? These things are always, some businesses plan them out to work that way. So we have to take a look at that and then decide, is it done because the business is not profitable, or is it done because we want to alleviate agreements, leases, supplier contracts? Why are we doing it?
And the venture capital. I'm the cynical one on that one, but I'll have to wrap it up. But thank you both for coming today. It's fascinating.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
All right, and in a moment, the young man who's vowed to fight extreme poverty and has everyone from President Obama to Gwyneth Paltrow helping him do it.